Brought to you by Neighbor Scoop.
Jill DeWit, co-founder of Land Academy. Happy to talk to you today and excited to share with you what I do and how I use due diligence when researching a property to make sure it's a good acquisition candidate. And I have it down to 5 easy steps, and I can do it in minutes. So if you're busy like me, you're an investor or a new investor, and you've sent out some offers, mail's coming back, and you've got, oh my goodness, you've got 20 signed offers and people that want to sell to you. You don't have time to spend a day or hours, going through these properties. You need some quick steps and tips to review the property quickly. Then you're going to decide if you're going to take it to the next level and then dive a little deeper. So I'm going to talk to you, about my 5 steps. I'm going to walk you through the process and show you exactly what I do. So what we're going to do is, again, I'm Jill DeWit. Why am I here? Well, I am here. Well, first, let me go to the agenda. Here's what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to go over when to review a land parcel, so you know exactly the 2 situations that I use this. We're going to talk about the Land Academy 5 A's, what those are. I'll explain that. Don't worry. I'm going to give you the definitions of each one of those, an example, and I'm going to do a live property review so you can watch me doing my due diligence in action. And then I'm going to go into Q&A, but please feel free to drop in your questions anytime here, and I'll go back and I'll find them. So why am I here? I have been a private investor for over 10 years, and my partner, Stephen Jack Butal, has been doing this for 25 years. In 2015, so 6 years now, we created Land Academy, and that was our way to not only give back, but to share and teach and help others start their own land businesses, their own investment businesses, and then also create partners for ourselves. Well, it went great. Here we are. And now I'm really here. I want to reach out and help and promote, everyone, yes, but in particular, I really want to help and focus on female investors and getting them going in their business. So when do you review a parcel? When am I going to use these 5 steps in these due diligence? Well, there's 2 times. One is when you're testing for reason on random parcels before you send out a mailer, and 2 is when you're staring at a return signed offer. So testing for reason, what is that? My partner, Stephen, he's the one that pulls the data, picks the county. I will throw some ideas in there on places that I want to mail and based on deals that I'm doing and experiences and things that are going on in my world. But primarily, he's the person that digs in, does all the research, knows how to pick the county, knows how to look at the analytics, knows where properties are moving, knows how to price them, knows how to download the data. He's doing all of that hardcore, awesome, way beyond me front end work. This is why we're great together. He's so good at that, and I'm okay at that, but nobody can touch him. So he does that. Well, when he does his hard work, he might go in a room and go dark for hours and download thousands and thousands of records. He will scrub them, he will price them, he'll make sure they look good and get the mail merge done, and it's all ready to go out. These offers to go out to property owners. One of the things he will do is send it to me for my last little test for reason. And what I'm doing is pulling up these offers before they go out in the mail, not after, before there's a stamp on them and they go out in the mail, for me to test for reason, to see if I got the signed offer back, would I do the deal? Does it meet our acquisition criteria? Is it priced correctly? Are there any kooky things that we need to, I might catch, even on the mailer? So that's what I do. And what you do this too, by the way, he's sending me thousands at a time. And sometimes it's multi-unit or multi-zip code or multi-county mailers combined in there. And he might have 5 acres and 10 acres and 20 acres and 40 acres. Who knows what's mixed in this mailer. So I want to make sure when you do this test for reason, please go through and test a little bit of everything. If you're doing, 3 different counties and 3 different sizes, I want you to go down the mailer spreadsheet or the PDF, however you're looking at it, and I want you to spot check, make sure you're kind of getting every little county and every little mailer pricing to make sure you would do these deals if they came back to you. And you could do this in an hour. Usually it's like 30 minutes to spot check, maybe even less, and that's all you need to do. And then the second time you use this due diligent process that I'm about to explain here is when the offers really do come back and you're staring at a signed purchase agreement from a seller, and now you're going to go, well, that's great. This is awesome. He wants to sell it. Do I still want to buy it? And I'll show you how that works. So on the next slide here, slide number 5, we're going to talk about the 5 A's. So before me, Jack he's been buying and selling, land for over 25 years, and me over 10 years, as you know. He developed these lists of A's, and this is a way to you to think about what's important when you're reviewing a property. And then I came along and I added one. So here are the 5 A's now. They are access. Is there a road? It's legal, physical. We'll talk more about that. Affordability. I mean, is it priced right? Does it make sense to you? Acreage. Number 3 is acreage. Usually the bigger the better, but you know what? Depends on what you're doing. It might be a quick infill lot or, smaller infill lot, something like that. And we'll talk more. Attribute. Is there something great about it? Is there something special about it that just stands out and it's going to make the property sell faster? And then 5, alive. And I'll explain that. So let's talk about, first we're going to get into now the definitions of each of these. And as I go through this whole thing, I'm on the next slide, slide 6. As I go through these and to further define each of the steps in the due diligence of the 5 A's, I'm going to give you some examples that as needed to show you. So, and I put these too, by the way, when I listed them back on slide 5. So these are the 5 A's, right? Access, affordability, acreage, attribute, alive. I'm going to pause real quick for a moment and say, don't worry about writing this down. You can get a copy of this entire presentation by sending an email to my team at support@landacademy.com. Just say, hey, I want a list of Jill's. Can I please get the PDF copy of Jill's presentation that she did today, she did yesterday, whatever it was, and my team will send this to you. So don't worry, if you're scribbling really quick, you don't have to worry about that. So let's go on to slide 6. So now I'm going to go into detail and give you a definition and show you an example of each one. And I put them in order of how I use them. Here is why. Some things are more important than others because some things will kill the deal right away. As you can see, access. For me, that's the top one. I need to know there's physical or legal, preferably both, access so my buyers can get to the property, period. So I'm going to look at that, and I'm also going to look at, too, I'm doing it nearby parcels. I'll show you here on a map. So I'm looking for access as my first thing. So what am I doing here? I'm looking at the property. First thing I want to do is get eyes on the property. I'm looking for access. I'm looking for nearby parcels. I want to see what's around there, what's going on. I want to see what's possible. Nearby structures mean that power and water and all of that's been solved. The neighbors have that figured out, so I know my buyer can do something with this. How do I use this? Neighbor Scoop, as you can see. And I'm going to jump over here, and I'm going to give you a working example of what I mean in Neighbor Scoop. Neighbor Scoop, by the way, is a program that we created. I say by investors for investors. It's us. So we created this product because I couldn't find properties. There was a time, if you've been doing this as long as we have, even in some areas it's hard to find the properties. It's not like you have a street address. You can see this one that I pulled up here. This is my example. It's San Mateo County. I'll show you how it works too, by the way. So when you go in, you log in NeighborScoop. I'll back it up here. You put in the county, let it auto-populate, pop in the APN, create parcel, and then watch what happens. But as I was saying, most of these properties, when I'm dealing with rural vacant land, I don't have a street address. And as you can see, even this one that I pulled up here, it happens to be in Half Moon Bay. This property address, you can tell it's a lot. You can, hopefully it's just coming out. You can see there's buildings around. I'll give you a better view here in a minute. But there's no property address. So I'd have no way of finding it. So here's what I do. So I told you, I'm on the access part of it, and I'm looking to see just what's around to see if I even want to take it to the next step. So I pull this up the property. Well, look at that. I got houses all around. And even from this visual, looking pretty darn good, looking like really nice houses. Over here, I can see some of the ownership detail. I'll get more into that in just a second. And let me zoom out a little bit. Look at what I can see here. I'm going to pop in right here because I can do it. I'm going to show you just what other layers I have. So I've got all kinds of interesting, different filters, layers, things that I can look at to confirm I have access. My favorite is just the imagery hybrid. I love that. So as you can see, this solves my access problem. And while I'm at it, I'm going to jump ahead real quick here because this could kill a deal too. Looks okay, but I'm going to show you the FEMA flood overlay. Why do you check this thing out? Well, I know it's working because my property's right back in here. Actually, it's on, there it is. So there's where the FEMA, there's would be any kind of a flooding. Well, no kidding, that's the ocean. All right, we got that figured out. All right, so now, let me make sure we covered everything here. We looked at structures, we looked at power, we looked at all of that. I've got eyes on it. Okay, I feel good. So now we're gonna go back to my item. That is on slide number 7, alive. Okay, why am I doing this right now? You know what? I don't want to get all the way into the deal. I don't want to get all excited, see how wonderful it is. I love it. I love everything about it. And then I find out I'm not talking to the owner. I'm not talking to the guy who has rights to own the property. It's not tied up in probate or, some other title issue. I've already solved that kind of thing. So alive is important. Is everyone alive and able to sign? And I'll show you in just a second here where I can see this in NeighborScoop. And then also I'm looking for title issues. Again, why am I doing that? To make sure that I'm dealing with the owner. I'm trying to uncover any potential issues. I don't want to get all the way through escrow too. I've had that. Back in the day when I was learning, you get in and you realize something's wrong here, depending on who I'm buying it from. I thought the guy had the power, and we thought things were going great, and it turns out there were just some big issues. So I'm also in here. I'm going to spot check for HOA, POA. I can find that stuff. I'm going to kind of eyeball, because I'm looking at the details. I'm also going to eyeball how long the seller owned the property, maybe if I can see what he paid, and maybe the transfer type. I'm just looking for any of those technical things that could mess up my deal, and I'll show you here in NeighborScoop. All right, so I'm back at my same property here. Well, guess what? The guy who called me is Jim Fitzpatrick. I know I got the right guy. I'm going to go into the details on the property and show you where I can see more things. So check this out. For anyone, again, who's been doing this years ago, it's amazing and awesome what I can do in just a few minutes here. You can see I'm double checking. Yeah, we want to check the zoning. Here's my land use. Here's my owner. Hey, by the way, here's his mailing address. Here's how it's assessed. Look at this baby, by the way. This property is a nice property. For taxes, of course, it's not always, this is what's assessed at for tax purposes, not necessarily what I could get for it today, but they calculated it $741,000. Here's when he bought it. The guy bought it in 2000. GD, it means it was a grant deed. That's typical here in California. He bought it January 14th in 2000, and he paid 150,000 bucks for it. Here was the seller when he bought it. He bought it from the Mary McDonald Trust. Here's a title company, and here's some more things. I got the footage, some nice statistics about how big the parcel is. I know it's 0.25 acres. And then here's the legal description. So I was mentioning I'm looking for things. I'm feeling good about this. If this was up here, if it was in a subdivision, which is really interesting too with this property, and this description, it's not like lot 1, it does say parcel 1, but it's parcel map, volume, whatever. It's not the, I don't know, the McDonald's subdivision, lot 2, whatever. Those kind of things would clue me in on to check for HOA. That's the kind of thing that would have an HOA. I still would Google it and double check it just to make sure, but this is not a red flag for me at that point. All right, so I checked everything now, and it's kind of nice to see what they paid for it, how long they owned it, transfer type, got all that. So now we're going to go back to the next slide, slide 3. I'm on my third item. So, excuse me, slide number 8. And now I'm looking at attributes. So this is an interesting one. Here on slide 8, I'm going to talk about attributes. So I want to make sure that, well, first of all, I've already can tell the water's right there. There might be a good view. I'm going to go check it out. What do you see how I can do this? I'm also going to look at the slope. Make sure it's not, I can't tell from here. I'm looking kind of straight down. I can see there's water. Can they build? Is it, is it a 10, whatever, what's the slope and the grade, and make sure we can do something with this. It's not like the side of a cliff kind of thing. FEMA, I kind of showed you how to do that. I got that in there. And again, I'm going to use Neighbor Scoop, and I'll show you how I can take Neighbor Scoop and use this to put the whole property right into Google Earth Pro, and I can really see the topography and confirm that it's a solid acquisition candidate. This is probably my favorite thing about this. I'm having to, well, bear with me here. I'm going to pull Google Earth over so you can see. It did it really fast. One moment, please. Let me do this one more time. You did it so fast, I couldn't keep up with it. This is funny. All right, here we go. Click on this, save, open. Bring over Google Earth Pro. All right, now you can see how it popped it right in here? It's awesome. Look how where I can zoom in. I zoom out. Now I'm in Google Earth. I can play with the elevation. I can double check. Okay, look at that. Look how great that's looking there. I can really get good eyes on the houses around here. These are looking like nice houses. This is an awesome property. I'm going to turn a little bit. Let's see what it looks like. What's my view going to be like here? How great is that? I don't know about you, but this is one of those things we always tell people. Don't go visit the property because you might not sell it. This is one of those that this is a good thing that I'm not near there because I might want it. So you can kind of see, I can really get a good view of what's in there. I'm going to show you. It's going to get even better. Watch this one. I can drop a little man down here and I can actually see the property. Well, I got no slope issues here. Look how great this is. I think this is fantastic. Look, it's kind of at the end of the street. Look at those awesome trees. And then get a load of what's around here. That's a nice house. Half Moon Bay. This is a gorgeous house. Look at this fence. This is dreamy. You would walk out in the street and see this, and then I would argue that depending on how you build your second floor, you can see the water too. So that passes my test. All right, so we got that. That was so in case you didn't figure, if you don't have a laundry list of attributes from this process right now, you know what I'm saying. That's what you do. So when you look at this and you're buying a property like I do, and you're an investor, you're selling it, every little thing that you and I just got excited about better be in your posting. And I want you to put, ocean view right in the top, in the title of the posting, because that's what's going to make people just want to click on it, fall in love with it. When you get a photographer out there and you can, show them around this, get good views and of the water, that's your lead photo right there. It's awesome. Okay, so we covered attribute. So now let's go on to our next item is acreage. Now this one is pretty cut and dry. Is it what you thought it was? Gosh, I was mailing all the 20 acres. How did this get in here? Kind of thing. Or does it match what I'm trying to do with it? So for this particular parcel, this is a infill lot dedicated mailer that we were going for, and 0.25 acres. I'm going to show you real quick here in case you didn't see it. I'm going to jump back. Like I said, you guessed it, Neighbor Scoops. Yeah, Neighbor Scoops my best friend. This is how I can do this in 5 minutes or less per property. Well, it's right there, 0.25 acres. And if you missed it from before, I even have the frontage footage, I have the depth footage. Doesn't get any better than that. So I can make sure, I might be calling the county and saying, what's the building setbacks? So I know what size house, or for my buyer, they have that information right there. I can provide that to them if they're buying to build their dream house, and they can call and have all that and find out if it'll work. All right, now the last thing on here, let me get back. The last and not least A is affordability. And that's on slide number 10. Okay, so affordability, slide 10. This is what I used for sale sites with land listings to confirm I priced the offer correctly, such as this. And I want to make sure that I'm in there, really below. I want to have a solid property below my competition. And I'm going to look at below and double check and make sure, because what I'm really staring at right now, I'm doing my due diligence, and I've got a signed purchase agreement in my hand, and I can see I offered this guy, X $1,000. I'm going to go in right now and just say, did I do it right? Remember, I only spot checked when we did that. Now I'm going to go back and do some real numbers in this area and see what's going on right now today before I agree and open escrow and move forward. So I'm going to click around. I'm going to go back on slide 10. Thank you. I'm going to cover all these things here in just a minute. So I'm also going to look at some recently sold comps. I'll show you how to do that to make sure parcels are moving. I don't want to be, somewhere in an area where the days on market are 410. I'm going to click around some neighboring parcels and Neighbor Scoop, excuse me. Parcel Fact was the version of Neighbor Scoop before it was Neighbor Scoop. So we still have parcelfact.com. If you're using parcelfact.com, you can see I have all kinds of extra attributes on here that have been added and upgraded on neighborscoop.com. But I'm going to click around and some of the neighbors. I pointed out those houses when we did the street view. I'm going to show you what they paid. And that's going to help me make sure I'm making a good decision. One pro tip I want to cover is, if there are not a lot of land comps available, I do use as just a rough gauge, I will look at house comps, because you can get a real good idea about an area, how the prices are how those prices are reflected. Like if houses are selling for $350,000 versus $35,000. If you find out you're in an area that you mailed offers to buy property like this for $50,000 and all the homes around it, structures on them, are selling for $35,000, you know you came in too high. So I'll show you here now. Now I'm back. Now I'm popping in. What do I do? Okay, Jill, how do I find this? Where do I use? Let's use the zip code, 94019. I'm going to copy that. See, probably I have it pre-filled in here. I'm going to pop it right into Zillow. And then, okay, how do I know I'm looking at just land? All these houses, everything popped in. Well, you go to the home type, as you can see, you have all these things to choose from. I'm going to zero in on lots and land. I'm going to get even a little more into it here. I know that this lot is 0.25, so I'm going to go from any up to a half acre. I kind of want to see what's going on in this area here. So, and I can even play this. This is stuff I play with depending on the area, what I'm doing, but I'll play with the days on Zillow. I want to make sure I take out, things. Let's just go back 12 months. Actually, for posting, I want to see them all now that I think about it, because for sale property, I want to see if something's been sitting there for 3 years. So I'm going to leave that. When it goes to what's sold, then I'll go in and play with the days on Zillow. So, all right, so we're in 94019, and guess what? There's 16 agents. One looks like a FSBO in here. Awesome. Price low to high. So I can click around and kind of get an idea of what's going on, what's the competition, where they are. Man, if I bought, look at this one. If I had priced this offer, I know right now based on this one, this is kind of a low one. I might throw that out, but I'm still going to look at it and see what's going on. See, it might not even be real. It might just be something that someone has up there, this global realty, to make sure everybody calls them to get listings, kind of thing. But as you can see, a lot of them are starting in 122. We got 2 in here for $200,000. I'm going to spend a little time making sure that I find a similar property, kind of similar attributes. But as you can see, even here, gosh, these are all kind of along the coast. I'm kind of feeling good. And my little area, I think, is right in here. So look at my little area right now. This is making me feel good. If I offered anything under sub of $200,000, it's looking good based on what we got here for sale comps. Now, let's see what's really happening. I want to see sold comps. All right, I got one for 200,000. I got one for 72,000. What's up? I'm going to dig in. And that's the stuff I'm going to look at, and I want you to look at, and I want you to pay attention. And again, too, there's not that many here. Okay, gosh, there's only 2, Jill. I'm not sure that's enough for me to feel good about. All right, well, let's go look and see what the houses are, because the person who's going to buy this house is obviously, or buy this land, is obviously going to put a house on it. That's the whole point here. And they're not going to put doesn't look like a manufactured condo apartment little area. So I'm just going to click on the houses. Look at this. Look how many came up. Oh, that's great. And I got 219. I need to narrow this down. All right, well, let's go back into my filters. I need them similar lot size. And you know what? I don't need beginning of time. I'm going to go back. I'm going to go back in the past 6 months. Let's just see what comes up there and see how good I feel. Well, I don't know about you, but I'm feeling great. So look at this. So these are houses. Again, houses. I have houses and land. Let me take out the land. Let's just show what these houses are going for. All right. And again, I got priced low to high. So I'm not sure what this little $127,000 is. It looks like these might be mobiles that just you can see by the pictures, they throw them in here. Let's get to some stick built. All right. Here's a good comp. $1 million sold on November 2020. Again, if I'm buying this property, that particular info lot, for less than $200,000, maybe it's $100,000. I'm feeling pretty darn good about this, because look at what this is not a big house too. That's a really awesome infill lot property that we found here. But so that is exactly how I go through this. Now I do have a couple side notes I want to add to you on my last slide, and then I'll get into Q&A and we talk more about this. Okay, so my last notes are, I can do this from anywhere. I happen to be sitting right now. If you know me, watch me. There's usually the beach behind me and people on bikes and walking by. And I happen to be in Scottsdale, Arizona right now, reviewing a property in Northern California. I can do it from anywhere. and I could be traveling and do it on my schedule. I never physically view the properties still, and there's a reason why. Sometimes you might fall in love with it, don't do that. You need to you're here to make some money and sell them. And I'm not limited though. I'm not limited to flipping property here where I am in Arizona or in California or wherever you are. And hence, we have members doing this worldwide. I have, it's a laundry list of people in countries around the world, not even, our hemisphere that are doing deals and working with Land Academy and learning from this. So now let's I'd like to jump ahead to Q&A and poll time. Let me refresh my questions here, and I'm going to watch for the poll results. I always like to see where you are in the process, so I know I'm best getting the answers that you need. All right, so let's see where's our poll. So, what's your level in reviewing land? All right, we have 12%. It looks like. Then are a pro, but always happy to learn, a small percent, awesome. And then 88% of you are here to learn. Good. I'm awesome. I'm excited. You're awesome. I'm glad. Thank you for sharing that. Again, please reach out to my team and they will give you the whole presentation with my notes, and you can kind of use this for yourself and make sure you're checking all the things when you're buying a property by sending an email to support@landacademy.com, and my team will just get you a PDF copy of those. So I'm going to go to, let's see here, to my comments, view. So I know I'm viewing it the right way. All right. I think I'm starting with this one, and I'm start here with Cynthia Tripp. This is a long one. Hello, Cynthia. Cynthia wrote, this is in Facebook. We just acquired and sold a couple of lots in New Mexico. Nicer properties, not the cheap in some of those other counties, Valencia or Luna County. The buyers went to look at the property and they loved it. Oh, however, they noticed the northwest and east side of the land was fenced off. They got, I think that's great. Neighbors are out there loving it. They got spooked and wanted a refund. Apparently, there's some adverse possession law in New Mexico that states you can legally take over someone's land if you've been using it. You need to dig a little deeper on this. It seems the owners to the south have fenced off the land. However, they haven't been paying the taxes on it. They can't legally take it over per New Mexico adverse possession law. The seller we purchased from said the fence was not there a few years back and he knows nothing about it. Any tips on how to handle this? We're planning to contact the adjacent owners and tell them to take the fence down. That's my first and best option always. Before we take legal action and start getting any of the authorities involved, or attorneys, and spending the energy and the time and the money, I would definitely go to the neighbors. One of the things I didn't get to show you, and we'll do that another time, but when you're in Neighbor Scoop, you can click around on neighboring properties and you can, what, actually, I will show you. I'm gonna do that real quick here. I'm gonna jump back over to screen share on Neighbor Scoop because I'm gonna help Cynthia with how she could reach these people right now really fast. Okay, so I'm back in Neighbor Scoop, staring at this one property. Pretend it was this property that Cynthia's talking about. Like, looks like somebody abandoned a car on there. It looks like the guy next door is half using it. Okay, guess what? It's okay, not here, unfortunately, but these guys are interesting. Well, I have all their phone numbers, or I have all their email addresses. So if it's available, it's pretty darn good in here. I have this guy's mailing address, right? This guy obviously lives there, so I've got his address. I can send them a letter. Look at the California people are all good about hiding their phone numbers. But you can see there's a spot for it. I will often, I'm trying to find a phone number here. This is the funniest thing. But you can see what I'm doing here. Click around. It could even be a little thing on my end. Now my team right now, I know they're working on it. So there's a small chance because 'cause we're making some updates to Neighbor Scoop that that's not connected right now. So if you have Neighbor Scoop and you're experiencing this right now, the team is working on it because I know they're watching me. But usually I will have phone numbers in there, and that's I could just pick up the phone and even call people. So that's what I wanted you to see because that's pretty cool. All right. Oh, you know what else I forgot to show you? Real quick here too. What I can see. Okay, see that owner across the street from my target property, right? Let's see what's going on in the area. I can see what happened. Like, they paid 130,000 for it in 1994. Well, I don't think the dirt's worth 190,000. Let's see what happened. Look, they built in 97. So they paid 130,000 for the dirt in 94 and then built on it in 97. You can get so much information in here to help you doing your due diligence and, you know, strategically uh, setting your prices. Let's see this one here. Now this one, 2018 sold for 1.8 right down the street. Again, proving my point on how much I hope this property was under, I don't even remember. I'm hoping it was sub 100,000, then anything sub 100,000, I'm happy. It's an awesome acquisition. Okay, so back to the questions here, and thank you, Cynthia. Refresh. All right, let me get down. For some reason with my team, I can only see, like, the most recent 4. I don't know why. I don't see older ones in this view that I'm experiencing. So I'll kinda jump around. I've got a question, on YouTube from William Tanner, and it says, "With lower priced with a lower priced properties where the title company leaves no meat on the bones." Hang on a minute here. Expanding the video. All right. I see where you're going. Thank you for your patience. That did it. All right. I'm going back now to the beginning on YouTube where I have a Gabasami Wole who says, "I'm happy to be here." Hopefully you guys can tell me if I'm caught up, and I think I got it. And then I have a Brenda Johnson who wrote from YouTube, "Curious if there's other sources beside property surveys that tell you if a property has utility easements crossing it." Call the county. Yep, I'm correct now. Thank you very much. So, yeah. You know what, Brenda? My first thing is let me back up. All the things I just did in my due diligence is my initial, am I gonna move forward? If it passes all those, I'm gonna move forward. If something in there didn't pass, the price is all wrong, guy doesn't own it, access is questionable, something crazy is going on, I'm not gonna move forward. Now, I don't personally, I'm not a developer, and I'm not here to get that into it. I'm buying and quickly reselling property, and I'm not digging as deep as possible. So that if there's some reason that's triggering you about a utility easement, then call on that. Call the county and get a quick answer. I wouldn't go so far as to, talk to the county, even mail money, get a survey, dig down deep in it, because that's a waste of my time. I'm going to move on to the next property. If it's really great, I still might push it aside, move on to the next property, and come back to it if I have time. So I'm not digging into that. Hello, Ruth Arkless. Ruth Arkless wrote, "Do we have access through Neighbors Group? Do we have access to Neighbors Group through Land Academy? There is special member pricing for Land Academy members. Yes, for Neighbors Group. And you can find that, Ruth, in your new member guide." Hello, Amir. If Fargan, I believe, is Neighbor Scoop an alternative to data services like Data Tree? It's an easier, you can get some stuff in data tree. You can often, not always, eyeball the property. You can't do FEMA, flood overlay. You can't get phone numbers. You can't get the whole outline, like where you can pop it into Google Earth. Um, there's several things in there that I need at my fingertips. I can't see the overall property information. I can see the size. I can see the zoning. I can see things like that. But to do a quick due diligence overview like I do in 5 minutes, Neighbor Scoop's the only one I use. It's on my computer running all the time, all day long. Hello, from YouTube, William Tanner says, what's the best way to make sure there's no IRS or county liens or any other fines against the property? Those are the ones that worry me, as they're not always extinguished with the sale, which is correct. Now that is the reason I do use data tree. That's the best place. So again, usually something's going to trigger that. And if you're not going through escrow, then because they would find that and they would do all those searches for you when you're going through escrow. But if I'm, for some crazy reason, I'm happen to self-close my own deal for $50,000 and something triggered that, I might need to make sure he started to build something. Could there be a mechanics lien on this that didn't get paid? I don't know. I want to just check it and make sure. I can go to data tree and I can search all that and find those answers. Excellent question. And let me back up too. If you are a Land Academy member, remember you have access to those three. You have not only have special pricing for Neighbor Scoop, but you have full nationwide access to data tree. You have Title Pro 24/7, which is Black Knight Financial Services. It's like Agent Pro but better. And then you have CoreLogic, which is RealQuest Pro's data tool for not only documents, but downloading your ownership data. Hello. Hi. Okay. Kieran, I want to say from Ireland. Nice to see you here on YouTube. Nice lot. I want it. Yep. Feel like would you do this deal in reverse? Kind of, right? That's a kind of what I just did there. So thank you very much. I'm glad you're here. All right. And I have another William Tanner. Oh, this is good. Annual temps in the ocean and access. Oh yeah. Has the property sold? I love it. He put a little thing in here on YouTube about that property. That's so good. All right. So I got Cynthia's. That's awesome. I moved down here. I think I got your full one here, William Tanner. If I missed something, my team will tell. We'll just get back to me. Let me go down here. Kieran was answering some of the questions. This is so great. This is who we are. If you're wondering what's going on in here a little bit, like who's answering and why are they doing this? This is Land Academy. Welcome to Land Academy. We help each other. We have nonstop chats on our phones via Discord. We have our own online community where we're chatting all day long in landinvestors.com. We have multiple group chats. I have a Land Academy ladies thing that we met earlier today. We have our Thursday weekly member call where we're all answering questions, helping questions like, hey, I know that area. Hey, I've got an attorney that might be able to help you with that. Hey, I've got a great photographer. Whatever it is, we're helping. So what you're seeing here in this comments section in the thread is a beautiful example of how we are all here to help each other. There's enough land to go around, and we all want to do bigger and better deals together. So thank you so much. And I got Chris McManus in here. Chris, you're a sweetheart. She's answering some questions too. Oh, here we go. I'm in Ireland. No reason that you can't do this remotely. There we go. All right. Okay, thank you, Chris. Perfect. Chris put in here, so what's the difference between physical access and legal access? Excellent question. Well, physical access is just what it sounds like. I can see a dirt road. I can see where the cars have been going. I can see it from Google Earth. I can drop a man down the paved. I can see where it cuts off the highway. We can see physical access. That's what it is. Doesn't mean it's legal access. Just because someone's been driving that way up and down this hill to get to the property for 5 years doesn't mean it's legal access. That you're gonna need to research a little bit more. And it doesn't mean preferably when you're new, I want both. Depending on the property, you may have reasons that you'll allow different things. So, we can and that's what this is actually another thing I could talk about. This is a whole nother show. Legal access, physical access, what to do about it, and we can talk about that more on another time. So thank you, Chris. But legal access, though, is mapped out. It's a road, there's an easement, and we know that that is the right way to travel, and no one's gonna take that away from you. I guess that's the main thing. If it's just physical access, it could be taken away. Someone could buy that property and say, "Yeah, not anymore. You got to figure out access another way. This is mine." So, hello, Lisa Tompkins. How are you? Where does one learn what states/counties are included? I'm wondering if you mean Neighbor Scoop, I'm gonna guess. So that on Neighbor Scoop, it's like 99? It's between 99 and 100%. And I'm waiting for my team is gonna pop in and tell me here about the exact coverage. Because I have to honestly say I'm not it's sure, but it's pretty darn close to 100%. But I think there are a few counties that are still being added because some of them there's some counties that are so rural that they aren't digital. So some assessor information has to be manually input. So I may not have a direct link in NeighborScoop, and that would be the only reason why. Oh. Hello, Kristen Tanji. Kristen Sunshine Tanji said, how up to date is NeighborScoop with county records? Awesome. This is a good question. It's a direct feed via CoreLogic Spatial. Long story, but that's where we get it. This is a very big deal. We were only able to get this kind of stuff because of our, 15-year relationship with that company. And we have met with them in person many times. We know them very well. And they have direct links to counties, and they've given us direct links to NeighborScoop. I don't know, maybe it has what we have and Parcel Fact. And some of it is like a bounce. It's kind of like a live thing that's ongoing all the time. Let's see. I think I covered this. William Tanner from YouTube. Where can I find out about their lien? So you can search in, just to give you an idea, if you go to Data Tree and go to Flex Search, you'll see you can put in state, county, fill in something about the property, or you can fill in something about the owner's name and watch the documents that will pop up there. It's staggering. You might get mortgage documents. You can find liens, all kinds of things that have been recorded on the property. It's in there. And even things that not related to the property, but just related to the person. Hello, Arlette Capel from YouTube. Just to be clear, this is a great question. Thank you, Arlette. Would you do this intense due diligence on a property you are considering buying, not for mailers? Yes, I would. It comes back, but the process that I showed you, I have it down to minutes. I'm gonna quickly, I just look at the state county APN, I pop it in, and I quickly eyeball the property. I got what I look around the neighbors, I can see the access, I see the roads, I quickly touch on the FEMA. Okay, no issues there. Now I open up the property details I showed you. I scan down those property details, see it. Oh, that's when they bought it. That's what they paid. Okay, no red flags there. Great. Now I'm going to pop it into Google Earth Pro. Wow, slope is awesome. Oh, look around. Got that there. Now my last thing is money. All right, now I'm going to put the zip code in Zillow, and let's spend 2 minutes here looking around. Sold, for sale. Wow, it all checks out. So that's how I can do it so fast and get all those things done. But if I'm going down the process and I'd say this is a total info lot mailer. So, and the first thing I pop in has no legal or physical access, I'm done. I don't need to go through steps 2, 3, 4, and 5. It doesn't matter. And be like, nope, that doesn't meet my criteria. It's not going to work. I accidentally, somehow the side of a cliff got in here, and that's not what I want. All right. Oh, you're welcome. William Tanner on YouTube said, "Great advice. Thanks for being here." You're welcome. Thank you for the I have a Brenda Johnson YouTube. Thanks, Jill. Very helpful. You're welcome. All right, I've got a YouTube, Austin's Land. Jill, can you give a brief overview of the different tools that you use and what aspects of research that they cover, such as data tree, neighbor scoop, Google Earth, the county, etc.? Absolutely. So neighbor scoop is my one-stop shopping for everything I showed you here today. Google Earth is really just to get eyes and slope and elevation. Maybe I might even go in and do like a drive up to it. You could, you can get down and like I dropped the man on there. Maybe I really want to see, I'm gonna see how far I can get. And sometimes you can see things like that looks like there might be a gate, or there might be a river, or there might be a wash. I might need to check that out a little bit, take it to the next step using Google Earth. Data tree, I'm using that if I need, extra documents. The gentleman doesn't have the deed anymore. He can't find it. I'm talking to Mr. Fitzpatrick, and I see his name here. He has long lost the deed. He doesn't know where it is. He moved. So I will go into data tree, and I can pull up copies of the deed, and often not just the vesting deed. I can go back a little bit because remember on this one, he owned it since 2000. So you know what? That's 21 years. I'm feeling pretty good about that. But I don't know, maybe you want to go back a little further for whatever reason and look, I want to see who owned it before him. You could search for that too and find that there. And then the county. The county, I'm going to get into it if like this one is a beautiful info lot. It was really not nuts not to dig into it. I don't need to pull permits. I don't need to talk to, you know, so and so and get all into the elevations and things, but it might be worth a call, especially say this property I'm spending $100,000 on. It's worth a call to say, "Hey, I just want to talk to you about building on this lot. Is it the right size or anything special that it's going to need?" It's like one phone call to the county and planning department and see and make sure that it checks all their boxes because you never know. These other houses could have all been built 20 years ago and now they require a different setback, or now maybe they all have septic and now it's sewer, and not that I don't want to get again too far into it, but just if there's something important that I need to know to buy it and I need to know to sell it, I will do that. A good example is in California, Northern California, all over. I mean, there's cannabis property. I will make phone calls to find out, is it allowed? And is it big enough? Is there anything special? And then I can do that in one phone call. And then I'm out. I'm not going to get the permits. I'm not going to get the paperwork. I'm not going to attach it to my posting and say, look, I have filled out for your cannabis license. You fill out the rest. I'm not going to do that. Just takes too much time. Oh, thank you, Emily. Emily's like, I have to cut for the night for school. Thank you so much, Jill. You're welcome, Emily. Glad you were here. All right. I'm not sure what 98%. Thank you. My team wrote back. So we were at 98% coverage nationwide in Neighbor Scoop, which is phenomenal. That's a staggering number. I feel great about that. I'm really happy. All right. And then I have a last little thank you from Arlette Capel. You are so welcome. Thank you for joining me today. I'm happy to be here. I hope I really helped you in your due diligence process and help you know what's important and find ways to streamline it. And you're just going to get better at it. The more you do it, the faster you'll get. And the more you're working in an area, you'll know it really quickly. And I want to make sure that you make really good, solid acquisition decisions. I'm Jill DeWit, co-founder of Land Academy. I'm here to help you get started because sometimes that's the hardest part. Thanks.